Welcome back to the next installment. Got the buggy here up at Ben's place, Lawrence Metal Fab, doing the cage, doing the tank. He's the man for the job for that sort of stuff, so we'll go inside, we'll check it out, give you a bit of a rundown on what we've got happening, what we're doing and what the plan is. Then we'll get it back down to the workshop and we'll kick on with the rest. Quick look at what we've got going on there. It's all mostly tacked together, and then we'll lift it, weld underneath, paint the stays, and then keep working on this tank. That's what we've got going on for the tank. Some custom baffles in there, and that will drop into the back here. Make use of some of this dead space down there, and we need more volume so it'll come up across the top. But the test fit went well, so we'll keep welding her up. Had a delivery this morning, normal tyres and buggy tyres. We'll get them mounted up. It's gone with the Method race wheels this time. They have, as you can see, no bead locks on there. They instead use technology called bead grip. So it's got some grooves here. As you can see, a bit of a lip there. I believe it uses something similar to run flat technology, which you find on like BMW rims. So we'll see how that goes. Quick sneak peek at the graphics. They're all printed out just in the middle of cutting there. Should be pretty wild. I'll hopefully get it all back together first, then put all the plastics on after, and then get the graphics on. I might put some bits on with the plastics off, slap it all together, but I want it to be sort of one of the last things that I put on there, saves getting them damaged and that sort of thing. Not that they won't get damaged when it's driving around, but it's just one of those things to try and hopefully make it all come together at the end and get a bit more excited. So we'll go check out how the rest of the progress is going. Here we go, cage is back, or buggy is back with the cage. Finally doing some of the last bits and pieces, trying to work out where the helmet pumpers should sit. I'm thinking up there behind the head, that sort of thing. That should be nice and tucked up out of the way. Got some seal savers on there as well, so a bit of protection for the shocks. The other thing I've worked on is the window net tabs. Last time I had the spring-loaded ones, which were okay, a little bit fiddly though. So this way I've got welded up with just a quick release tab. Should be able to whip that off pretty quick. The rule that's coming in now is out in 10 seconds. So shaving off any time we can with the quick release tab is great. That'll definitely help. But yeah, still got a fair bit to go here, making the doors fit. I think they'll probably just have to be stay closed doors because I've had to cut quite a bit out there, but I do like the look of the factory door, so I'll see how much I cut out. Maybe I'll even just skin it so that it's just a skin that clips in, and away we go there, with the option to maybe open if I need to. Sometimes it's just easier to get the door off, to get in there, work on things and that sort of stuff. Also, we'll finish running the hoses up to the tank, which is still up with Ben. He's going to finish welding that up, and then we've got the tabs and the mounting points and all that sort of thing worked out. Bit of a rubber stopper for it to sit on, and then we'll work on the firewalls, which should be pretty good. I'm hoping I might be able to tie it in with a cover for the cooler there, and then firewall over, and might be good. Should button it up pretty neat. Cage is off and prepped up, ready to go. Got plenty of cans of steel it. Was going to run it through the gun, but the cans are a bit easier to get in and around, I feel, and I couldn't be bothered with the gun and that. I painted the arms with that and it was a bit of a nightmare, but yeah, cans will do it. Same thing anyway, but yeah, I'll be able to be in there, do all this sort of gear, get it sorted. Painting up the cage in the open air booth. I'll do probably 3 or 4 coats of it, and then let it sit and we'll get it back on. There we go, cage is on. I've done a bit more wiring as well. Got the old party lights on at the back there. So that is all coming along good, as well as got the, like I was saying before, the remote thing. So that, like that, bang, isolated, works pretty well. Got a seat in there for a bit of test fitting. I'm probably gonna do the UHF and radio mounted up there. We got Zach, co-driver, sitting there, and he reckons it's a pretty good spot. So mapped out a few more things like the iPad that we've got here as well. I've pushed on with a fair few bits. It's all just little stuff, wiring, getting things sort of laid out. Obviously we've bolted on the ditch lights there and the helmet pumpers up there, but it's all coming together pretty well. So I'll go into more details on some bits and pieces maybe, if there's anything that I think might be of interest. I will hopefully get some panels on next. Quick look at the intercom and UHF mount that I've made. It's basically just a little tab welded onto the cage there, you can see. And then the brackets sort of pin into that. I've got the boot up here. I'll have a bit of a visor that comes down, so it'll sort of protect all those cables. They'll be tucked up as high as possible, and they just sort of run nice and neatly along here. All pretty tidy, all goes down there, keep it simple. Easy to find and problem solve later down the track if I have to, but also easy to pull apart and clean and tear down and that sort of thing. So we'll look at some of the other bits as well. Got a lot of panels on, started with the graphics. Starting to come together and look like a full buggy again there. One thing that I do need to, I wanted to try and put all this on last, right? But I need to work out where the Nerf bars go, so I need to maybe mount this on so that I know how to make them and the mounting points, and I need the plastics on there. If I've got the plastics on there, might as well stick the graphics on there. This is the other thing that I needed to do as well, the wings that sit back here, or the rear fenders, or whatever you want to call them. I need to do a bit of a bed delete, so the tank will sit there. I'll be able to make a bracket that just comes up here, bend it up real nice, that just stops that sort of flapping around and then ties in quite nicely. So it's one of the other things, the other reasons I need to have all this on, so that I can map that all out and get it done. I know people make kits, but I'll fab something up myself, I think. But yeah, looking like a full buggy again. I'm now working on the Nerf bars, or tree kickers, I think. They all have different names, but so I've notched that out to fit the frame there. Now, what I did last time was I had a nut welded in there. It's always a bit of a pain in the ass when I had to line up 3 different points to try and get it in. So this time what I'm doing is I've got my washer that fits perfectly in there. I'm gonna weld that onto there and then have a bolt coming outwards rather than inwards. I feel like that's gonna be easier to line up and get in the hole there. So I welded up a couple here, and then they'll basically just slide in a little bit, and then I'll run a bit of weld around there, and then they'll have bolts that line up, and then if they're a bit long I can trim them to suit, sort of thing. And probably pretty cool if I can use those cap nuts as well. But yeah, that's how we're pushing along there at the moment. And I'll again done more of the graphics. It's almost all done. It'd probably look a fair bit different with all the logos and stuff filled in, but I've got this panel on here, so I wanted to get these plastics on so I can know where it's going to line up and I can get these holes right. See if I've got to trim anything or whatnot. So otherwise, you know, I'll bolt the Nerf bars on and then they might be off on all crazy angles. So that's the reason behind that, but I'll get that done and then we'll keep going, do some test fits and then weld them up and paint them and slap them on. That is one Nerf bar all tacked in place. Our rules here in Australia is that they have to come out past the outside of the wheels, or the most outer point of the wheels. So I've done a string line there just to make sure it's bang on, so that's pretty good. That's all they ask for. The other thing I keep in mind as well, the smallest tyre that we race with, I guess, would probably be a 30-inch tyre. There's no way a 30-inch tyre is going to fit in there. So the other thing is to help stop someone having a pass, or you know, get a wheel tangled up. Idea is just bounce off that, keep going, or not causing a huge accident. That's it there. So I think the other part of the rule is it needs to have 3 attachment points. I've got 1 and 2 there. Just making up my mind whether I try and cut out the bit of plastic and have the 3rd one come down there, or maybe make it come up somewhere and attach higher up. Haven't quite decided yet, which I know is a bit crazy that I've made it, and I'll decide that later, but it's one of those things I'll visualize once it's here now, and maybe even do a bit of a sketch and a mock-up and draw something, see where I want it to go to and how I want it to be attached and what's going to look the best and be the strongest. Now working on the roof. Nerf bars are all done. I just went with a nice simple bar there to there. Had to cut that hole a little bit bigger. Nice and simple, pretty lightweight. Don't want to add any extra unnecessary weight. So just in the middle of drilling the holes to the roof, we rolled it in a old roller there. It'll pin down alright. Be pretty nice. Bit of a visor going on there. I've got the wires there tucked in, so that should be plenty of protection for that. So we've got that there. Roof will go on, finish off some of the graphics on the roof, and then I think one of the last parts will be the rear tank to go in and plumb in and that sort of thing, and then the exhaust, and then that will be pretty much stage one, if you like, race ready. I'll get it logbooked. Of course, there's always going to be a never-ending list of things, like I want to do the CV protectors that go down in there, so that's somewhere that they sort of protect the CVs a bit more and that sort of thing. So yeah, plenty more to do, but almost ready to get logbooked.